ॐ ज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मयि ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरुन् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादं सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितंश्च। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेशा गोपिका कान्त राधा कान्त नमोस्तुते। तप्त काञ्चना गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते जयपताका स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमो आचार्यपदाय निताय कृपाप्रदायिनि गौरकथाय नगर ग्राम तारिणि। नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। मुखं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्य ईश्वरं। हरि ओम तत्सत्। हरे कृष्णा। So last time we discussed about how the Jnana yogis, Ashtanga yogis, Karma yogis, they sacrifice. What kind of sacrifices they do, and what kind of sacrifices do the brahmacharis in different varna and ashram basically. So this varna and ashram that Lord Krishna has made, so in that every individual has to do some sacrifice. So the brahmacharis, they are sacrificing their senses in hearing and controlling their they sacrifice the hearing process and the senses in the fire of mental control. So brahmacharya is the stage of controlling the mind, so that is their sacrifice. Okay, and then others regulated household, grihastha also. In grihastha there is a sacrifice. So it is even the householders, it's not that they can do anything, so it is all under regulations. Under for them, there is some freedom of sense gratification, but it has to be regulated. Hmm. And then we spoke about how the karmis, they also sacrifice their possession, their wealth. Okay, but what is the aim? What is the goal? They all want something in return. Hmm. Whereas the yogis, they sacrifice also. The Jnana yogis, they sacrifice their intelligence to understand the Vedas. Okay, but their expectation is also that to merge in the Brahman. Right. So like this, every varna and ashram, everybody is sacrificing something. Now let's read further text 28. Now we are talking about the Ashtanga yogis, how they do sacrifice. Someone can read this verse.
माता जी मैं रीड करूं?
Okay, Anuradha Mataji. Dravya yajna stapo yajna
द्रव्य यज्ञ तपो यज्ञ
yoga yajna तथा परे
योग यज्ञ तथा परे
स्वाध्याय ज्ञान यज्ञश्च
स्वाध्याय ज्ञान यज्ञश्च
यतयः संसितव्रताः.
यतः संशित व्रता.
Yeah.
Having accepted strict vows, some becomes enlightened by sacrificing their possessions, and others by performing severe austerities, by practicing the yoga of eightfold mysticism, or by studying the Vedas to advance in transcendental knowledge. माताजी purport पढ़ना है?
हाँ, property पर.
Purport. These sacrifices may be fitted into various divisions. There are persons who are sacrificing their possession in the form of various kind of charities. In India, the rich mercantile community or princely order open various kind of charitable institute like Dharmsala, Ann Kshetra, Atithi Annathalaya and Vidyapeeth. In other countries too, there are many hospitals, old age homes, and similar charitable foundation meant for distributing food, education, and medical treatment for the poor. All these charitable activities are called Dravyamay Yajna. There are other who are higher elevation in life or for promotion to higher planets within the universe voluntarily accept many kind of austerities such as Chandrayaan and Chaturmasya. These process entail severe vows for conducting life under certain rigid rules. For example, under the Chaturmasya vow, the candidate does not save for 4 months during the year July to October. He does not eat certain foods, does not eat twice in a day, or does not leave home. Such sacrifice of the comforts of life is called tapomaya yajna. There are still others who engage themselves in different kind of mystic yogas, like the Patanjali system, for merging into the existence of the absolute, or Hatha Yoga or Ashtanga Yoga for particular perfections, and some travel to all the sanctified place of pilgrimage. All these practice are called yoga yajna, sacrifice for a certain type of perfection in the material world. There are others who engage themselves in the study of different Vedic literatures, especially the Upanishad and Vedanta Sutra or the Sankhya philosophy. All of these are called Swadhyay Yajna or engagement in the sacrifice of studies. All these
1 second, Mataji. So, what all kind of yajnas did we study about? One is Swadhyaya yajna, जो योगी लोग ज्ञान योगी करते हैं. And they are reading all the different Vedic literatures, Upanishads, Vedantas, in order to understand the philosophy, the truth. So they are sacrificing their intelligence, everything in understanding the scriptures. So it is called as Swadhyaya Yajna. Okay, and then उसके पहले था योग यज्ञ. योग यज्ञ में क्या करते हैं? The Ashtanga yogis are who engage in different kinds of mystic yogas like Patanjali system. लेकिन इसमें भी उनका क्या इंटेंशन है? टू अटेन परफेक्शन इन द मटेरियल वर्ल्ड. मतलब मटेरियल वर्ल्ड में ही परफेक्शन अटेन करने का उनका इंटेंट. इवन द अष्टांग योगीज, मेजॉरिटी ऑफ देम, दे ओनली वांट मिस्टिक पावर्स. क्योंकि अष्टांग योगा का एक साइड बेनिफिट होता है कि दे गेट मिस्टिक पावर्स. दे कैन बिकम स्मॉलर देन द स्मॉलेस्ट, अनिमा, लघिमा, प्राप्ति. So there are 8 kinds of mystic powers, and these Ashtanga yogis, they actually are sacrificing everything, doing so much of tapasya only to attain that mystic power. So that is the yoga yajna. Okay, then which is tapomaya yajna. तपोमय यज्ञ में वो कर्म योगी के बारे में बताया गया कि देयर आर सो मेनी पीपल हु डू दिस चातुर्मास्य, राइट? तो चातुर्मास्य में they will take some vow. They will not sleep on the bed, they will sleep on the ground, they will not travel anywhere, they will avoid eating 2 times, they will eat only once a day. So like this they will do some tapasya, they will not shave their शेव नहीं करते, या तो बाल नहीं काटेंगे तो बाल भी मतलब ग्रो करते रहेंगे 4 मंथ्स तक। मुस्टैच और जो बियर्ड है वो शेव नहीं करते हैं। सो लाइक दिस कई ऐसे कर्मीज भी हैं जो चातुर्मास्य को का वाव फॉलो करते हैं। हम भी करते हैं एज डिवोटीज, बट आवर इंटेंशन इज ओनली टू अटेन भक्ति, सो दैट वी कैन डू भक्ति नाइसली। और शिला प्रभुपाद जी हमें कहते हैं कि इसीलिए भक्ति में ना वी आर नॉट सपोज टू डू टू मच ऑफ तपस्या, क्योंकि ऐसा मंडेन तपस्या ना वो फिर हमारे हार्ट को बहुत हार्ड बना देता है, and eventually we end up becoming a fruitive worker. We expect something in return out of our severe austerity. So Srila Prabhupada जैसे चातुर्मास से हम कैसे करते हैं कि only in first month we will avoid curd, we will avoid green leafy vegetables first month, second month is curd, third month is milk, fourth month is urad dal. तो ऐसे खाली 4 items we try to avoid, and we try to chant more number of rounds in the Chaturmasya, right? So of course Chaturmasya is a very very auspicious 4 months where we can enhance our spiritual growth, but we need not do unnecessary tapasya जो otherwise जो कर्मी लोग करते हैं। लेकिन उसमें उनका सब मटेरियल इंटेंशन ही रहता है। सो दैट इज तपोमय यज्ञ, देन स्वाध्याय यज्ञ, योग यज्ञ एंड द्रव्यमय यज्ञ। इसमें भी कई ऐसे कर्म के बारे में बताया गया है जो चैरिटी में बिलीव करते हैं। सो दे विल ओपन सम अनाथ आश्रम, सम चैरिटेबल हॉस्पिटल, ओल्ड एज होम। तो इस तरह से दे वांट टू डू समथिंग गुड फॉर द सोसाइटी, बट अगेन उसमें भी उनका क्या रहता है, दे वांट सम मटेरियल नेम फेम, मटेरियल कंफर्ट, राइट? और कुछ लोग और जो चातुर्मास को एक्चुअली फॉलो करते हैं, जो तपस्या इतना करते हैं, उनका एम रहता है कि मरने के बाद उनको स्वर्ग लोक प्राप्त हो। सो बेसिकली मटेरियल बेनिफिट के लिए ही लोग जनरली ये सब सारा सेक्रीफाइस और यज्ञ करते हैं। सो दैट ये डिफरेंट काइंड ऑफ यज्ञ जो बताया गया था उसको इसमें है। ओके, लास्ट माधुरी जी, कैन यू कंटिन्यू?
हाँ,
ऑल दीज योगीज आर फेथफुल।
yes, Mata. All these yogis are faithfully engaged in different type of sacrifice and are seeking a higher status of life. Krishna consciousness, however, is different from these because it is the direct service of the Supreme Lord. Krishna consciousness cannot be attained by any one of the above mentioned type of sacrifice, but can be attained only by the mercy of the Lord and his bona fide devotees. Therefore, Krishna consciousness is transcendental. Hare Krishna.
सो बेसिकली भक्ति जो है, हमें ये ऊपर जितने भी तपस्या का या जो भी चैरिटी है, यज्ञ है जो ऊपर मेंशन किए गए हैं, उनसे हमें भक्ति नहीं प्राप्त हो सकती। वी कैन अटेन कृष्णा कॉन्शियसनेस और भक्ति ओनली बाय द मर्सी ऑफ अ प्योर डिवोटी लाइक श्रीला प्रभुपाद and our gurus. So in this material world there are all kinds of people. You will find such religious people, so called religious people, जो बहुत तपस्या करते हैं, और उनको देखकर हम ऐसा सोच सकते हैं कि वाओ, दे आर सच नाइस डिवोटीज, दे मे सीम टू बी लाइक डिवोटीज, लेकिन उनके मन में कुछ मटेरियल इंटेंशन होगा कि आफ्टर डूइंग दिस आई वांट समथिंग मटेरियल, सम मटेरियल कंफर्ट एंड some material benefits. So it's not that everybody is a pure devotee. ये प्योर डिवोशन में नहीं आता ये सारा तपस्या वगैरह या दान करना, चैरिटी करना, ये सब अच्छे कर्म में डेफिनेटली आता है. All these are counted in good karma, but the result is that they will get some material benefit only. It is not spiritual, it is a good karma. Whereas Krishna consciousness में जो भी हम करते हैं, it is not material at all, it is spiritual. Krishna consciousness में हम जो भी whatever austerities we, for us what is austerity? In bhakti yoga what is the austerity? Like these people are doing so much of austerities, तो भक्ति योगा में भी तो austerity है, but वो कौन सी austerity, क्या करते हैं हम? We wake up early
Engaging our
morning.
senses in sorry.
Yeah, sorry, tell me.
Yeah, engaging Mataji, engaging our senses in the 9 processes of Bhakti, Mataji.
Yeah, beginning with the chanting. Chanting itself is the greatest sacrifice, actually. If you read the glories of the holy name, chanting the holy name, it is mentioned that the greatest charity, the greatest sacrifice, the greatest austerity is chanting the holy name. अगर कोई हरि नाम ले रहा है, 2 घंटे हम निकालते हैं जो, that itself is the greatest sacrifice. People say we don't have time, right? लोगों के पास समय नहीं है, तो 2 घंटे निकाल कर chanting करना, that itself is the greatest sacrifice. Basically, chanting the holy name is the greatest sacrifice because holy name itself is so powerful. तो भगवान का नाम का जप करना, भगवान के लिए भोगा बनाना उनका, और इनफैक्ट प्रसाद भी ग्रहण करना itself is a sacrifice. These are much greater sacrifices than the ones which are mentioned above, which the general karmis they do, karmis and gyanis and yogis are doing. उससे भी बढ़कर जो सैक्रिफाइस है वो भक्ति योग में है, जो कि सिंपल है. उनके कंपैरिजन में बहुत सिंपल लगेगा क्योंकि ये डे टू डे एक्टिविटी है. हमारा खाना बनाना, खाना, ये तो हमारा डे टू डे एक्टिविटी है. लेकिन वही जब हम भगवान को ऑफर करके खाते हैं तो वो सैक्रिफाइस हो जाता है. लोग ये सब करते नहीं, उनको लगता है अरे कौन टाइम वेस्ट करेगा, हमें बस टाइम नहीं है कि हम पहले बनाएं फिर भगवान को ऑफर करें फिर खाएं, बिकॉज दे फील इट्स वेस्ट ऑफ टाइम, it's not needed, it's not necessary, right? For them this is not an austerity, but they will do some other kind of austerity कि जब चातुर्मास से आएगा तब हम एक ही टाइम खाएंगे, हम नीचे सोएंगे, हम शेव नहीं करेंगे. So all these things they feel it's much better and much greater austerity than daily offering bhoga to Krishna. But daily offering bhoga to Krishna, daily chanting his holy name, getting up early, taking bath early, all these are greater austerity than the above mentioned. And these austerities in Bhakti Yoga, they give us what? Spiritual result. These are not mundane austerities. They don't, and our intention is to please Krishna basically in Bhakti Yoga. Whereas in all other yoga system, Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga, the intention is completely material. They want some material gain and benefit. Next verse. Anyone who wants to read?
Mataji, shall I read?
Yeah. Okay.
Hare Krishna, Mataji, Pancham.
Yeah, Isha Mataji, Hare Krishna. Apane juhati pranam.
Apane juvati pranam.
Prane apanam tatha pare.
Prane panam tatha pare.
Pranapana gati rudva.
Pranapana gati rudva.
Pranayama parayana.
Pranayama prayayana.
Apare niyatahara.
Apare niyatahara.
Pranan praneshu juhati.
Pranan praneshu juvati. Apane, in the air which acts downward. Juvati, offer. Pranam, the air which acts outward. Prane, in the air going outward. Apanam, the air going downward. Tatha, as also. Apare, others. Prana, of the air going outward. Apana, in the air going downward. Gati, the movement. Rudva, checking. Prana ayama, trance-induced by stopping all breathing. Pranaya, so inclined. Apare, others. Niyata, having control. Ahara, eating. Pranan, the outgoing air. Praneshu, in the outgoing air. Juvati, sacrifice. Still others who are inclined to the process of breath restraint to remain in trance practice by offering the movement of the outgoing breath into the incoming and the incoming breath into the outgoing, and thus at last remain in trance, stopping all breathing. Others curtailing the eating process offer the outgoing breath into itself as a sacrifice. Purport: this system of yoga for the breathing process is called pranayama, and in the beginning it is practiced in the Hatha Yoga system through different sitting postures. All of these processes are recommended for controlling the senses and for advancement in spiritual realization. This practice involves controlling the air within the body so as to reverse the direction of their passage. The apana air goes downward and the prana air goes up. The pranayam yogi practice breathing the opposite way until the currents are neutralized into puraka equilibrium Offering the exhaled breath into inhaled breath is called Richaka. When both air currents are completely stopped, one is said to be Kumbhaka Yoga. By practice of Kumbhaka Yoga, one can increase the duration of life for perfection in spiritual realization. The intelligent yogi is interested in attaining perfection in one life without waiting for the next. For by practicing Kumbhaka Yoga, the yogis increase the duration of life by many, many years. A Krishna conscious person, however, being always situated in the transcendental loving service of the Lord, automatically becomes the controller of the senses. His senses, being always engaged in the service of Krishna, have no chance of becoming otherwise engaged. So at the end of life, he is naturally transferred to the transcendental plane of Lord Krishna. Consequently, he makes no attempt to increase his longevity. He is at once raised to the platform of liberation as stated in Bhagavad Gita 14.26. Mamchoyo va vyabhi charane bhakti yogine sevate sa gunan samatit yatan brahma bhuyaya kalpate. One who engages in unalloyed devotional service to the Lord transcends the modes of material nature and is immediately elevated to the spiritual platform. A Krishna conscious person begins from the transcendental stage and he is constantly in that consciousness. Therefore, there is no falling down. And ultimately, he enters into the abode of the Lord without delay. The practice of reduced eating is automatically done when one eats only Krishna prasadam or food which is offered first to the Lord. Reducing the eating process is very helpful in the matter of sense control. And without sense control, there is no possibility of getting out of the material entanglement. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Bharati.
Thank you.
Yeah. So the yogis, they practice this Ashtanga Yoga. Usme yam, niyam, pranayam, asanas. These are various angas of Ashtanga Yoga. And जैसे कि हमने पिछले वर्स में भी पढ़ा था कि the soul is surrounded by different kinds of airs in the body. इसीलिए ये जो अष्टांग योगीज हैं, they practice this pranayam and they regulate their breathing, they regulate the airs within the body. Basically उनको equilibrium में ले आते हैं, उनको उसको कहते हैं कुंभक yoga. So they will control the way how the airs are moving. Some airs are moving downward, some airs are moving upward, some airs are, they are in the stomach, like horizontally they are moving in a circular fashion. So like this, there are 5 kinds of airs in the body, and all these different types of airs have different movements. So Ashtanga yogis क्या करते हैं? They are by doing pranayam, they are trying to control the air, the movement of the air. Okay, one reason is also, why? Because हम जब जन्म लेते हैं तो हमारे जो सांस है कि हम कितना सांस लेंगे वो destined है. उसके बियॉन्ड में एक सांस ज्यादा नहीं ले सकते. Whatever is there in my destiny, I cannot take even one more breath more than what is already written in my destiny. तो इसीलिए कोई अपना जिंदगी बढ़ा नहीं सकता. जितना destined है उतना ही हम जी सकते हैं. लेकिन ये योगीज लोग क्या करते हैं? They can live for many years. They can prolong their life. You know how? By controlling the movement of the air. क्योंकि जितना लिखा है, जितना मेरा सांस लेने का लिखा है डेस्टिनी में, उतना ही मैं जीऊंगी. लेकिन वो क्या करते हैं? वो सांस लेना ही बंद कर देते हैं, इसलिए उनका लाइफ ही लंबा हो जाता है. They are able to control the air so much that they are able to live even without breathing. Basically, they control their outgoing and incoming passage of the air, and they bring it in equilibrium. So there is no outgoing incoming air, and they have just complete control over the vayu, the airs in the body, and that is how they prolong their life. And what is the purpose of prolonging their life? Because they know that perfection cannot be attained in very short duration. अष्टांग योगा मतलब ये बहुत लंबा प्रोसेस है. लोगों को जन्म जन्मांतर लग जाते हैं अष्टांग योगा के द्वारा. समाधि तक पहुंचने के लिए भी बहुत जन्म लग जाते हैं. तो इसीलिए वो लोग ये जो प्राणायाम के द्वारा अपने आयु को बढ़ाते हैं, so that they can attain लाइक समाधि, या मेजॉरिटी तो उनका मेन है कि मिस्टिक पावर मिल जाए. दे जनरली गेट bewildered by the mystic powers that they attain during the course. But इन जनरल जो योगीज हैं, अगर सपोज अष्टांग योगा के द्वारा भी हम भगवान को रियलाइज कर सकते हैं, जैसे ध्रुव महाराज ने किया. ध्रुव महाराज was practicing अष्टांग yoga, but he realized the Lord Vishnu, right? He was not like an ordinary yogi who just got bewildered by the mystic powers, right? So ध्रुव महाराज ने तो अष्टांग योगा किया था, तो उन्होंने भी अपने he also did the same thing. He got control over his breathing process, pranayam, then eating process. He did not eat for months and months. Then एक समय ऐसा आया कि वो खाली सांस पे ही जी रहे हैं, उन्होंने कुछ भी नहीं खाया, उन्होंने कुछ भी खा नहीं रहे हैं. Like for 6 months, within 6 months, he attained perfection actually, just by getting control over his mind and senses. तो बेसिकली ये अष्टांग योगा का प्रोसेस है, where they try to increase the duration of their life by controlling the movement of the airs in the body, which is known as the Kumbhaka Yoga, to attain perfection in this life. But आगे फिर प्रभुपाद जी एक्सप्लेन करते हैं कि कृष्णा कॉन्शियसनेस में हम क्या करते हैं. वी आर नॉट बॉधर्ड कि हमारा आयु लंबा हो और फिर हमें परफेक्शन मिले. Why? Because Krishna consciousness itself is a perfection. One who engages in the service of Krishna. So इसमें बताया गया है कि Krishna consciousness is so great that one who engages in unalloyed devotional service to the Lord transcends the modes of material nature immediately and is elevated to the spiritual platform. तो हमें लंबे आयु की जरूरत नहीं है. The moment you are 100% engaged in Krishna's service, you are transcended to the spiritual plane. You are no longer in the material realm. This is how Krishna consciousness is so powerful and it is transcendental. Whereas all other yoga systems are mechanical. उसमें जो है हम खुद अपने आप से मेहनत करके कोशिश कर रहे हैं. Whereas Krishna consciousness is such an easy way कि जैसे ही हम भगवान का सहारा लेते हैं, उनके नाम का, उनके चरणों का, एक प्रामाणिक गुरु का जब हम सहारा लेते हैं, तो ऑटोमेटिकली वो इमीडिएटली हमें ऊपर उठा लेते हैं. ये 3 गुणों से और कर्म बंधन से immediately we become liberated. So this is the power of pure devotional service. So which is better, doing karma yoga, jnana yoga, ashtanga yoga, or bhakti yoga? Which is better according to all of you all?
भक्ति योगा माता जी.
नेचुरली भक्ति योगा है ना. भक्ति योगा जैसे अब इसको कंपेयर किया गया है कि अगर सपोज आपको 100th फ्लोर पर जाना है, ओके, तो एक तरीका है कि आप सीढ़ी से जाओ, 1st फ्लोर, 2nd फ्लोर, 3rd फ्लोर, 4th फ्लोर, ऐसा एक एक करके जाओ. दूसरा तरीका है लिफ्ट से जाओ. तो भक्ति योगा इज लाइक द लिफ्ट. आप एक फ्यू सेकेंड्स में आप 100 फ्लोर पे पहुंच सकते हो. तो ये पावर है भक्ति योगा का कि जैसे ही आप 100% सरेंडर्ड हो कृष्ण को और कृष्ण की सेवा में लग रहे हो, यू इमीडिएटली बिकम लिबरेटेड. Whereas the other yoga systems are compared to different floors, कि आप 1st फ्लोर, 2nd फ्लोर, 3rd फ्लोर चढ़ रहे हो, फिर जाके 100 फ्लोर पे आओगे. तो ये जो कर्म योगा, ज्ञान योगा, अष्टांग योगा है, ये अलग अलग फ्लोर्स से कंपेयर किया गया है. और भक्ति योगा इज कंपेयर टू द एलिवेटर, लिफ्ट. तो एक बुद्धिमान व्यक्ति क्या करेगा, एलिवेटर लेगा. ही वोंट चूज टू गो थ्रू द स्टेयर्स, राइट. ओके, दिस इज वर्स भगवद गीता 14.26 में भगवान ने बताया, माम च योग विचारेण भक्ति योगेन सेवते स गुणान समतीत्यैतान ब्रह्म भूयाय कल्पते. So one who is engaged in unalloyed devotional service of the Lord is immediately transcended. Okay, next verse.
I will read Mataji.
Okay. सर्वेप्येते यज्ञविदो
सर्वेप्येते यज्ञविदो
यज्ञाशपीतकल्मषाः
यज्ञक्षपीतकल्पमषा
यज्ञशिष्टामृतभुजो
यज्ञशिष्टामृतभुजो
Yanti Brahma Sanatanam.
Yanti Brahma Sanatanam. Should I read the meaning also, Mataji, word by word?
Yeah. Okay, just read the translation, no problem.
Okay. All these performers who know the meaning of sacrifice become cleansed of sinful reaction, and having tasted the nectar of the result of sacrifices, they advance towards the supreme eternal atmosphere. Purport. From the foregoing explanation of different type of sacrifices, namely sacrifices of one's possessions, study of the Vedas, or philosophical doctrines and performances of the yoga system, it is found that the common aim of all is to control the senses. Sense gratification is the root cause of material existence. Therefore, unless and until one is situated on a platform apart from sense gratification, there is no chance of being elevated to the eternal platform of full knowledge, full bliss and full life. This platform is in the eternal atmosphere or Brahman atmosphere. All the above mentioned sacrifices help one to become cleansed of the sinful reaction of material existence. By this advancement in life, not only does one become happy and opulent in this life, but also at the end he enters into the eternal kingdom of God, either merging into the impersonal Brahman or associating with the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So basically, इस verse में बता रहे कि how doing sacrifice is very very important. Yeah. So जैसे हमने कहा कि भक्ति योगा में हम we are doing right from chanting, reading, hearing, everything is a sacrifice, which is a supreme, and we attain eternal benefit. That is, we get self-realization, we get connected with Krishna, we serve Krishna, we attain eternal bliss, right? But suppose if somebody is not doing bhakti yoga, then at least they should do the other kind of sacrifices. इसलिए अगर हम जब कर्मीज में जो हम इन जनरल पब्लिक में देखते हैं लोग अगर बहुत चैरिटेबल हैं, so we should not stop them. We should never say that why are you wasting your money and why are you wasting your time? Don't do such charity. ऐसा कभी भी नहीं बोलना चाहिए, because whatever they are doing, it is good for them. Okay, because not everybody are able to take to Krishna consciousness immediately. Right? So if they are charitable, they are doing some kind of charity, it is very good, because it is necessary that we do give up something, give away something, so that we attain control over our mind and senses. So although that is not the absolute way of controlling the mind and senses, simply by giving in charity, तो उससे that is not the absolute way कि हम हमारा senses एकदम से control में आ जाएगा, लेकिन at least they are taking some steps forward towards spiritual path, because इस तरह से उनको हो सकता है कभी अगर suppose charity करना इतना उनको अच्छा लगता है, जैसे अभी book marathon चल रहा है हमारा गीता दान. So some people who are very charitable, that I also realized this, my experience, that I know few people who are not practicing Krishna consciousness, but they're very charitable. The moment I told them that this is the month of Gita Jayanti and it is very good to do Gita Dan, we are going to distribute in schools and colleges, immediately they offered some Lakshmi for the Dan, because they are charitable. So like this, अगर उनका वो charitable nature है, तो somewhere they will get some अज्ञात सुकृति. Like now they donated for Gita Dan, and they just out of their goodwill, because they are charitable, they are doing this, but they are getting spiritual benefit out of it. They are getting agyat sukriti, and very soon they may take up to Krishna consciousness. Okay, next time when they meet some devotee or read Bhagavad Gita, they may want to know more about it. They may want to practice Krishna consciousness. So this is the result of agyat sukriti. So being charitable is also good. So in general, when people do these sacrifices, we must not stop them. चातुर्मास में भी जो इतना कड़क कोई तपस्या अगर करता है, तो हमें ऐसा उनको मना नहीं करना चाहिए, because अगर वो करते हैं तो ठीक है, maybe with that, someday they may get some mercy, unknowing mercy. Yeah, but otherwise, when somebody takes to Krishna consciousness, then we don't need to do all those kinds of sacrifices. Then we do only what is recommended in the shastra for bhakti yogis. To please Krishna, whatever is needed, we must do that. Whatever is favorable, we accept that. Whatever is unfavorable, we reject that. So unnecessary austerities हम नहीं करते because it is not favorable for Krishna consciousness, we reject them. But whatever is favorable, we continue to follow that. So basically sacrifice करना जरूरी है. क्यों? क्योंकि बिना sacrifice के हम इंद्रिय तृप्ति के ऊपर otherwise नहीं उठ पाएंगे. क्योंकि we have, our body is made up of senses and mind, and there are sense objects all around. So naturally there will be interaction. So in order to control our mind and senses, these kind of sacrifices is necessary. So this is the basically essence of this verse, कि कुछ ना कुछ sacrifice करना तो जरूरी है हमारे इंद्रियों को और mind को control में लाने के लिए. Now Ashtanga yogis, they give up everything and they go in a secluded place in order to control their mind and senses. But there are ways how we can, by staying in the material world with everyone, with everything around, how we also can control our mind and senses. उसके बारे में बताया जा रहा है. And it is necessary that we have control over our mind and senses. Okay. So any question from anyone from whatever we read today? We read, I think, 3 verses. 27, 28, 29 and 34 verses. Should we read one more verse or just take question answers if you have? Okay.
We can read one more.
Okay, we'll read one more verse, then probably we'll take the questions. 4.31. Anyone wants to read?
Ma'am, can I read, Mataji?
Yeah. Jaya Mataji, you can read. Nayam lokostya yagyasya
Nayam lokostya yajnasya
bhutonyah kuru sattama
bhuto
bhutonyah kuru sattama.
kuru sattama. None never I am this lokah planet. Asti there is ajnata for one who performs no sacrifice. Putoha where is anyaha the other. Kuru sattama, O best among Kurus. O best of the Kuru dynasty, without sacrifice one can never live happily on this planet or in this life. What then of the next? Shall I read the purport,
Yeah.
Mataji?
Yes, ma'am.
Whatever form of material existence one is in, one is invariably ignorant of the real situation. In other words, existence in the material world is due to the multiple reactions of our sinful lives. Ignorance is the cause of a sinful life, and sinful life is the cause for one's dragging on its material existence. The only loophole by which one may get out of this entanglement. The Vedas therefore give us a chance for escape by pointing out the paths of diligence, economic comfort, regulated sense gratification, and at last, the means to get out of the miserable condition entirely. The path of the religion or different kinds of sacrifice recommended above automatically solves our economic problems. By performing of yajna, we can have enough food, enough milk, etc. Even if there is a so-called increase of population, when the body is fully supplied, naturally the next stage is to satisfy the senses. The Vedas prescribe therefore
One
sacred
minute,
marriage.
Mataji, 1 minute. We'll go slow.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah.
Yes, Mataji, just hold on. So
Yeah,
it's very important. ये श्री उपनिषद में भगवान ने बताया है कि how we should accept only what is our quota, whatever Krishna has given. हम जब when we take birth, we are given our quota. हमारी डेस्टिनी में लिखा हुआ है कि इतना मिलेगा. तो उस कोटे के बियॉन्ड हमें कुछ भी हासिल करने की कोशिश नहीं करना चाहिए, स्पेशली बाय रॉन्ग वेज. कुछ गलत तरीके से हमें कोई चीज हासिल करने की कोशिश नहीं करनी चाहिए. Because Krishna has given enough, there is enough food, enough milk, etc. But if there is poverty here, it is not Krishna's fault that there is poverty. Actually, Krishna has given us enough food and water and air कि किसी को actually कमी नहीं पड़नी चाहिए. क्योंकि आप अगर एनिमल किंगडम देखो, तो एनिमल्स कितना खाते हैं, एलिफेंट्स दे ईट सो मच, लेकिन क्या उनको कभी कमी पड़ती है? डू दे एक्सपीरियंस एनी पॉवर्टी एनी टाइम? दे नेवर एक्सपीरियंस पॉवर्टी। जिसको जितना खाने को चाहिए उतना उनको मिल जाता है। टाइगर, लायन, दे ईट ओनली फ्लैश, उनको भी मिल जाता है फ्लैश। जिनको, जो वेजिटेरियन है उनको मिल जाता है वेजिटेरियन, जो नॉन वेज है उनको नॉन वेज भी मिल जाता है, तो उनको तो कोई मेहनत करने की भी जरूरत नहीं पड़ती, एंड दे डोंट डाई आउट ऑफ हंगर। The only problem is for the human beings. Why? Because human beings, they have greed, लालच है हमारे अंदर। और भगवान ने थोड़ी बुद्धि दी है हमें एक्स्ट्रा, तो कुछ लोग हैं जो एक्सप्लॉइट करते हैं, कुछ लोग हैं जो दूसरों का भी हिस्सा छीन लेते हैं और या तो जमा करके रखते हैं, जिसके वजह से जो कुछ लोग हैं जिनको मिल ही नहीं रहा, एंड दैट इज व्हाई वी सी देयर इज पॉवर्टी इन द वर्ल्ड। अदरवाइज एक्चुअली पॉवर्टी होना नहीं चाहिए। If we simply follow Krishna's instructions, there will be no poverty at all. And this is what we used to see in our just recent history also. जैसे भारतवर्ष को सोने की चिड़िया कहा जाता था। क्यों? क्योंकि कहीं पर भी कोई बीमारी नहीं, कोई कमी नहीं। People were very happy following the Vedic culture. All our kings, majority of them were Krishna conscious. They were great devotees like Pandavas and Prithu Maharaj and Ambarish Maharaj. They were all great samrat and great devotees of Krishna. तो इसके लिए किसी को कोई कमी पड़ती ही नहीं थी, और भारतवर्ष को चिड़िया, सोने की चिड़िया कहा जाता था। लेकिन जैसे ही लोगों ने स्क्रिप्चर्स को निग्लेक्ट कर दिया, भगवान को अपने लाइफ से निकाल दिया, now we are facing all kinds of difficulties and poverty and problems and diseases. Right? So life is actually very simple if we simply follow the scriptures, and if we become Krishna conscious. So basically ये sacrifice करना बहुत जरूरी है. Okay, just by trying to enjoy everything and trying to just collect for oneself, being selfish, being greedy, we will never be happy by such mentality. So Vedas basically, they help us to understand how to live happily. They give us such injunctions that one can, how in human form of life we can have enough for ourselves, and we can also see to it that others also get. Yeah. Someone was saying.
Mataji?
Yes, Mataji.
Mataji, can I read ahead?
Yes.
Yeah, 1 minute. The body, the Vedas prescribe, therefore, sacred marriage for regulated sense gratification. Therefore, thereby one is gradually elevated to the platform of release from material bondage, and highest perfection of liberated life is to associate supreme love. Perfection by performance of yajna, or in brackets as described above. Now, if a person is not inclined to perform yajna according to the Vedas, how can he expect a happy life even in this body? And what to speak of another body on another planet? There are different grades of material comforts in the different heavenly planets, and in all cases, there is immense happiness for a person engaged in different kinds of yajna. But the highest kind of happiness that a man can achieve is to be promoted to the spiritual planet by the practice of Krishna consciousness. A life of Krishna consciousness is therefore the solution to all the problems of the material existence.
Yeah, so basically इसमें बताया जा रहा है कि यज्ञ करना कितना जरूरी है, सैक्रिफाइस करना, because even for, अगर suppose हम ordinary कर्मीज का देखें, so everybody is actually trying to find happiness, right? So only by when we perform yajnas and sacrifices, then we get transferred to higher planets, like there is Mahalok, Janalok, Taplok, Brahmalok, and there is Bhu Swarga also. Swargalok may be, there is Bhu Swarga, and there is the higher Swargalok also. All these places are much better than the planet Earth. मतलब हमारे धरती में जितना सुख हम देख सकते हैं, उससे कहीं ज्यादा सुख ये हायर प्लैनेट्स में है। और वहां पे जाने का तरीका यही है कि यज्ञ करके जाओ, do some sacrifice, do some good karma, and you can go to those places. But of course, they are temporary, they are not permanent. Again, once your good karma ka balance is over, we come back again on the planet Earth to perform karma. So it is temporary, but at least better than the current situation that we see in this planet. Okay, in this planet. So therefore, basically, Prabhupada is saying that performing yajna is so important if you want to be happy in this life also. अगर आपको इस लाइफ में भी अगर खुश रहना है तो यज्ञ करना बहुत जरूरी है. अगर कोई व्यक्ति खाली ये सोचे कि मैं एंजॉय करने के लिए ही जी रहा हूँ, तो उसका लाइफ विल बी ओनली ऑफ सफरिंग. Maybe there will be some temporary happiness, illusory happiness, but again he will suffer a lot. जैसे लोग ड्रग इंटॉक्सिकेशन करते हैं, तो जब यूथ होते हैं, दे फील वाओ आई एम सो फ्री, आई कैन डू एनीथिंग, एंड दे इंडल्ज इन इंटॉक्सिकेशन. शुरू शुरू में उनको कुछ नहीं होता है बिकॉज देयर हेल्थ इज गुड, दे हैव वाइटैलिटी, दे हैव गुड एनर्जी. तो इंटॉक्सिकेशन करते हुए दे आर एबल टू लिव नॉर्मल लाइफ, नॉर्मल एज इन सो कॉल्ड नॉर्मल लाइफ फॉर देम. फैमिली है, सब कुछ है, लेकिन इंटॉक्सिकेशन भी कर रहे हैं, कुछ नहीं हो रहा है उनको. उनको लगता है कि यार दिस इज हाउ आई एम सो फ्री, आई एम फ्री टू एंजॉय. बट कुछ ही साल बाद, अगर दे जस्ट नीड टू वेट फॉर नेक्स्ट 10 years 20 years down the line, and then they will start experiencing all ill effects of the drug intoxication, right? There will be clashes in the house, कलह क्लेश होता है, आपस में फ्रिक्शन होता है, then the health goes down. All this will have its effects, it's just a matter of time. लेकिन वही है कि इल्यूजन के वजह से, इग्नोरेंस के वजह से लोगों को लगता है कि आई एम फ्री टू डू एनीथिंग, राइट? तो ओवरली इंडल्जेंस इन सेंस ग्रेटिफिकेशन डज नॉट गिव अस हैप्पीनेस एट ऑल. अगर किसी को खुश रहना है तो सैक्रिफाइस करना बहुत जरूरी है. इवन इफ सपोज somebody wants to just live in this material world only, then also doing sacrifice is very important in order to be at least some peace, to have some peace in life. Otherwise there will be no peace at all. Overly indulgence in sense gratification does not give us peace at all. इसीलिए वो जो ब्रह्मचर्य का जो स्टेज है उसमें हमें सिखाया जाता है कि माइंड पे कंट्रोल रखो, ताकि जब तुम गृहस्थ आश्रम में जाओ और जब तुम्हें थोड़ा सा फ्रीडम मिले सेंस ग्रेटिफिकेशन का, तो you don't overly indulge in sense gratification, but you have a regulated life of sense gratification. Then you won't go mad, you won't be crazy, you won't be greedy, you won't be lusty, and you will be peaceful, you will respect everyone, you will be a responsible person, you will do your duties nicely. So at least इस तरह से भी करके somebody can be peaceful. So basically the point is, without sacrifice one cannot be happy even in this life. Then what to speak of next life? मतलब अगर किसी को ये भौतिक जगत से ही बाहर निकलना है, the greatest actually freedom is to associate with Krishna, to serve Krishna, to go back to Godhead. That is our real life. That is the greatest liberation, greatest freedom in our life, right? तो बिना सैक्रिफाइस किए हम इस जीवन में भी सुखी से नहीं रह सकते. तो अगर हमें गोलोक वृंदावन जाना है या हमें भगवत धाम जाना है, तो उसके लिए कितना सैक्रिफाइस करना होगा, राइट? बट दैट सैक्रिफाइस इज द बेस्ट. द सैक्रिफाइस दैट वी डू इन भक्ति योगा is the best kind of sacrifice, because it helps us to come out. It's the final solution actually. It gives us a solution to all our problems, because even if suppose we do some good karma, good thing in the material world and try to be happy, still there is no permanent happiness in the material world. So we must try to do such sacrifices that will give us permanent solution, that will help us to go back to Godhead, that will take us to Krishna, because that's the real liberation, that's the real happiness that we are all seeking for. So we will stop here for today, and if anyone has any question, we can take those questions.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Mataji, so after listening to you, I was thinking doing Chaturmasya and doing this, what you say, Disham Panchak is also important for the devotees.
Yeah, so for devotees, as I mentioned, चातुर्मास्य हम कैसे करते हैं, वो एक एक महीना जो एक एक आइटम अवॉइड करना है वो अवॉइड करते हैं, and we try to chant more number of rounds. इसके अलावा we don't try to do anything too much.
But Mataji, जैसे कि आपने बोला कि प्रभुपाद जी ने बोला है कि it is not important to do all this. So should we do?
This much we should do. We do avoid eating few items. Yeah, उतना हम करते हैं. लेकिन जैसे जनरल लोग जैसे करते हैं ना कि जमीन पे सोएंगे, ऊपर नहीं सोएंगे और बाल नहीं काटेंगे, तो उतना एक्सट्रीम करने की जरूरत नहीं है.
Like leaving first month green leafy, second month curd, third month you said
Yeah,
milk.
this much to we all do.
And
as
fourth
devotees.
month for what, Mataji?
Urad dal we don't have. तो
Urad.
डोसा वगैरह नहीं खाते.
Okay, okay.
What is this, Mataji?
And what is this,
ये आपने
Mataji?
जो अभी जो आपने बताया ये कभी होता है?
ये चातुर्मास में जो 4 months आता है ना, रेनी सीजन का जो 4 months
हाँ
आता है,
वो हाँ
हाँ उसमें
शुरुआत
हम
में
एक
अभी
एक आइटम
अभी
अवॉइड
जो
करते हैं
खत्म
एक
हुआ
एक महीने.
ये या करेक्ट.
And what about this
लेकिन वो स्वामी
Panchak, Mataji? These are also yagna and sacrifice for the devotees.
Yes, yes. भीष्म पंचक में there is like कार्तिक मंथ में आता है भीष्म पंचक जो last 5 days है.
Yeah, my
मतलब चातुर्मास
mother
का
used to
last
do it,
5 days.
Mataji, but my mother used to take Ekadashi Prasadam.
Yeah, last 5 days we just take Ekadashi Prasad. So
Okay.
either we take only fruits or we take Havishanna. There is one kind of khichdi. So
Okay.
we only,
I
yeah,
have Panchak, so last year I only told her not to do it because you are doing Ekadashi, so I thought it is more than enough.
okay, okay. But it is recommended.
Okay.
So there's no harm because the devotees do this Bhishma Panchak. तो वही है कि कुछ कुछ चीजें yes devotees are recommended to do but not extreme.
Okay.
तपस्या जो कि कर्मीज जैसा करते हैं वैसा हम नहीं करते. But yes, some which are recommended, which are good for our bhakti, which gives us devotional service. क्योंकि भीष्म पंचक करने से भगवान कृष्ण प्रसन्न होते हैं क्योंकि हम भीष्म पितामह के लिए कर रहे हैं और भीष्म पितामह एक बहुत ही बड़े भक्त हैं भगवान के. तो इसीलिए क्योंकि भगवान प्रसन्न होते हैं और हमें भक्ति मिलती है, that is why we do this.
Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Mataji, but Prabhupada has not mentioned anything about these things in his Leelamrita or anything.
Yeah. Prabhupada has not
Mataji,
mentioned,
yeah.
but
Yeah,
it is
so-
mentioned in the Vedas. It is
Yeah,
there in
it
our
is
scriptures.
mentioned in the Vedas, that's right. But however, Prabhupada has not mentioned about Bhishma Panchang and all these things. So, Mataji, my question is, as a devotee, Mataji, we are having various services. Right,
हाँ.
Mataji, we are preaching, we are distributing books, and we are doing
Yeah.
many on a regular basis. We are going out and doing. So,
Yes.
Mataji, that's what actually Prabhupada wanted, so that this movement will go further and it can reach many people. So,
Yeah.
Mataji, that yajna we are doing properly. Is that is not sufficient, Mataji, and still we have to do these personal yajnas, Mataji?
No, it is sufficient actually. Whatever say, if we simply follow Srila
Yeah.
Prabhupada and our
Following
own
the
Guru's
Prabhupada
instructions.
becomes safe, no, Mataji, because we are doing what in case 5 days we are not eating properly, then we become weak, then we are not able to go out, preach and distribute books. And
Yes, Mataji. So
many
I'm
other
explaining
things. Yeah.
that if we are simply following, we are doing our sadhana very nicely. We are preaching, we are distributing books. That's enough actually to go back to Godhead. That's enough. But if somebody wants to, because we have to overcome our mind and senses and all that, right?
Yes, Mataji.
So if somebody wants, like, I want some more personally, if somebody feels that I need to do this in order for more spiritual progress, they can do. So it is optional. It is not compulsory for the devotees. It is optional. So it is not recommended कि आप अपना बाकी का service. Yeah, it is not recommended that we give up other services and we do these tapasya. It's not recommended. If somebody is, doing book distribution, so nobody tells them कि तुम वो छोड़कर, you do 5 days का Bhishma Panchak, sit at home. It is not recommended that way.
More than that, Mataji, first time when I did Chaturmas and I was avoiding curd, I had to undergo a lot of repercussions at home because already we are not eating out, we are not eating onion, garlic and those things. So now curd also you don't eat milk. No, these things becomes a lot of issues at home unnecessarily because when others don't understand what we are doing. So from that point of time, Mataji, because curd becomes very integral part of our South Indians, no, Mataji, we always take curd every day afternoon. We sit together and my husband knows that I take curd. So when I'm avoiding the curd, he got very angry at me. What is this new thing that you have started? So, Mataji, for all those things, I thought it's better I will just focus on whatever I do. If it is bothering somebody like urad dal, we are South Indians, so every day idli dosa, so 3 days, 4 days a week for us, this dosa idli happens. 1 month we cannot make other things, no Mataji, without the urad dal, because these becomes a very integral part of our life. It's not about our personal sacrifice, but it's about being in the home and being with everyone. And that is, they are thinking that you're going on a different way altogether.
Hmm.
So for
Yeah.
all those reasons, Mataji, I stopped doing the Chaturmas because this
There's
was
no
not
harm.
it was not taken up in a proper sense. And Bhishma
Hmm.
Panchang also 5 days I don't eat. That means that will also create a problem. So Mataji, as
So
and when,
yeah, there's no harm, absolutely no harm, Mataji, because whatever you can, maintain peace at home and practice. Main thing is
yeah,
chanting, reading, hearing,
yes,
preaching,
Mataji,
book
that is, and
distribution.
these are the things I'm focusing, Mataji. I'm not
Yeah.
personally doing many of these sadhanas like Chaturmas, like this Bhishma Panchang. Ekadashi, of course, I follow right from day one, and that is well accepted. That there is no such thing because it has been going on for more than 5 years. So certain things are accepted. Whatever main thing, like what Prabhupada said, like Ekadashi is important for us.
Hmm. So
And
right now, see,
Panchami
Mataji, according to
Ekadashi
your
also one
current
Ekadashi.
situation,
Yeah. Yes,
according to your current situation where it is not completely accepted by your husband, at this
yeah.
point of time, you can completely, you can avoid following them. But
Yes,
suppose in future, just like how now you are experiencing that, your husband's view is changing, he is also
yeah.
becoming favorable. So ho sakta hai ki future mein he might become favorable, he might not object. Then at
Yeah,
that point of time, you can try to follow these
Mataji,
things.
correct.
So
That's what.
basically the
As
point
of
is,
now, yeah,
hmm,
I don't see, with respect to food and eating, Mataji, because for me, Mataji, he allowed me about not eating outside. He accepted that. That is the biggest thing that I have to be thankful for it, because we have small children. We go to restaurant and I'm not
yeah.
eating. So this much he has accepted. So I feel very grateful for that. And
Yeah,
Mataji,
so
over time,
gradually you can slowly you
yeah,
can take it forward. You don't need to do so much. That's what for devotees we have to judge, कि
yeah.
कितना हम अभी कर सकते हैं. So that main
Because
thing is our Navida
taking the
Bhakti,
prasadam is
chanting, reading.
much more important than taking
Yeah.
anything else. If you
Yes.
avoid outside food and if you are only accepting Krishna prasadam, I see the progress happening in devotional service, because we are eating only the food that is offered to Krishna. So the
Yeah.
material tendency and everything has gone down, and there's more interest in hearing. There's no more interest in preaching, and there's no interest in chanting. And the mind is away from all the other unnecessary things. So
Hmm.
this one I consider to be the advancement that I am facing after the devotional life. So
Yes, yes. So if I share my experience, so
yes.
initially when I also started,
Mm-hmm.
my husband was little slow, as in he wasn't doing so much as I was trying to do. So
Mm-mm-mm.
when I heard about this Chaturmasya and
Mm.
Kartik Mas, Vrat and all. So I told him that I'm interested in doing this, but he became furious that why you're doing unnecessarily.
Mm-hmm.
You will sacrificing your health and this and that. So he didn't like the idea. So I thought,
Mm.
okay, fine. If he's not so much, he's not accepting it. I avoided for first few years. I did not do. Even I did not do because he was not accepting it. But
Correct.
later, as and when he grew in his spiritual consciousness,
Mm.
spiritual growth, he himself started. He himself told, okay, let's follow this also, and we started. So like this, the time when it is not acceptable by the family, you can avoid all these austerities. They are not so important, but yes, if you do them, they definitely help us to become cleansed, to become purified.
Yeah.
They
Okay.
definitely help us. So later on when I started, we both of us started doing it.
Mm-hmm.
I could also see that they are very powerful. Bhishma Panchak jaise abhi hum jaate hain, we take bath in Ganga daily. We are eating only Ekadashi Prasad. So after 5 days, no, we feel so purified. So we definitely feel the change. So ये
Mm-hmm.
helpful होता है. But yes, we have to judge our situation and then we can take up.
Okay, Mataji. Okay, Mataji. That's the only question I had, because reading the Prabhupada Leelamrit, didn't see anything like that. Maybe for Prabhupada at that time, preaching the movement and movement going
Yeah. That
be a
was very, and that is
priority.
still the same.
Yeah.
Abhi bhi
That
wo
is still the
main
same because important thing
instruction
is
hai.
we need to distribute books and we need to preach Krishna consciousness to as many as possible. Yeah. Yes,
Yeah.
Mataji.
That is definitely there. Even today, main
Yeah.
instructions are these only, that we have to preach, distribute books, and follow, do our sadhana. But if suppose there are certain things which are in the Vedas and which are
Yeah.
recommended by GBC and our gurus, then we can also imbibe them gradually if it is possible, because that is
Mm.
helpful. Doing sacrifice is helpful. So whatever
Mm.
is recommended by our gurus and GBC, we can always do that.
Yes, Mataji. Yes, Mataji. I understand. There is a little bit of thing. I understand that. Yes, Mataji. Yeah, but whatever I hearing from my Guru Maharaj, he always tells us to focus on chanting, reading, hearing, and preaching and distributing.
Definitely. Yes.
So this is
That is
the
always there. Yeah.
yeah, this emphasis that I am getting and hearing to Prabhupada's lecture also. But nevertheless, as you said, they will help in our internal
Devotional service only, because
devotional
when we see
service.
they
Yeah.
help us in becoming purified, so we will do more better services.
Yeah.
Right? We will be more surcharged in
As you
doing
said,
our
it might
sadhana
be
also nice.
the more because the movement grew very fast during Prabhupada's time. 108
Yeah.
temples within 7-8 years. And so for that phenomenal thing, if people are more focusing on their personal sadhanas, it wouldn't have happened.
Right. That is why
Because
Prabhupada didn't say
everybody
so
were
many
giving
things.
only
Yeah.
to others.
Yeah.
They were not really thinking about themselves. It was more about giving to the Krishna consciousness and spreading. And if you're more in your own personal sadhanas, then it becomes difficult to preach and you're not have sufficient health and you feel weak and you can't be doing whatever you have been doing. Like,
Also, not everyone is able to preach or distribute books. Right?
Mm-mm.
So whatever somebody can do, any sacrifice, it will be
Correct.
beneficial for them.
Yeah. At least in that way, you can do something
Yeah.
and cleanse yourself.
That way. Right.
Okay, Mataji. Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Mataji,
Krishna.
one more thing. I am sorry, Mataji. Today, my the books are still in the car, and Prabhu he went to BKC. He had some meeting, so I think it will be very late by the time he comes.
Okay.
So
No
we'll
problem. You
have
can then
problem
send
in
tomorrow.
sending the books today. How about tomorrow, Mataji?
It's all right. You can send them tomorrow also.
Tomorrow morning, are you available, Mataji?
Yeah.
Okay, so I will try to send it in the morning time because I
Yes.
didn't know that he's having the meeting. Otherwise, I would have removed from the car and kept it because it was from the temple and I left it in the car itself.
Okay.
Okay, Mataji. Okay, Mataji.
Okay. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.